Niemand hat die Absicht, eine Mauer zu errichten.
The Eagle has landed.
Today, Apple is going to reinvent the phone.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Und Vater Becker schießt ein Erinnerungsfoto von der Tribüne aus.
At Facebook is just help people connect and communicate more efficiently.
Wir werden uns von Ihrem Wahnsinn nicht anstecken lassen.
I take pride in the word, Ich bin ein Berliner.
Hi, I'm Lajos. I'm working for Axel Springer in Germany. We are located in Berlin. And I'm the head of our online development department of Die Welt Group. So, and as you have seen in the previous movie, we are taking care about news. So, currently we are responsible for about 6 different kind of news portals. Yes, and this is only a subset of a lot of other digital brands we own. So, a short question to the audience. Who actually knows Axel Springer here? Can I get a hand sign? Wow, all right. More than I expected. But anyway, I give you a short introduction. So, Axel Springer founded his publishing house in 1946 in a small warehouse in Hamburg. And it grew to one of the biggest publishing houses in Europe. And nowadays we have more than 12,800 employees operating in more than 40 countries. And we are leading currently the German print market. But as you might also heard, the classical journalism is currently really facing the digital transformation. So there are different kind of brands in Germany that had to shut down their business, like the Frankfurter Rundschau or the Financial Times Germany. And there are other brands like the Newsweek and La Tribune that had to stop their print production. And also the Washington Post, one of the newspapers that is really standing for high-quality journalism, have been bought by Jeff Bezos, the CEO of Amazon. And we are currently, we don't know what this means to the high-quality journalism. So our mission is actually to save the diverse, independent, and high-quality journalism, also in a digital world. And Axel Springer is actually doing very well. So when you take a look on the revenues, on the total revenues in 2008, only 14% came from the digital area. And already 5 years later, half of our total revenues came from the digital sector. So how does Axel Springer did this change so quickly? So everything started in 2006. When Axel Springer started to invest in the digital transformation. So on the one hand side, we acquired different kind of online companies. So like a real estate portal called Immonet, a price comparison engine called Idealo, or Stepstone, a job portal, and many, many more. On the other hand, we also grew organically. So this means that we also created our own digital brands. There are a lot. And we also invested in a lot of different kind of startups. And currently, it's really a great time at Axel Springer because every 1 to 2 months, there are new companies that are joining the Axel Springer family. So, but actually, we are not the only industry that is facing the digital transformation, though also other industries are have to deal with this issue. So let me introduce you now to Tore, the CTO of Fjord IT.
Thank you. Yes, hi everyone. I'm Tore at Fjord IT. At Fjord IT, we are delivering infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service for Lajos and Matthias that you will meet afterwards. We are delivering infrastructure as a service and, of course, Cloud Foundry since we are here. We've been doing that for quite a long time, but we also in these transition projects, there is always a way from A to B, and that doesn't happen like this just overnight. So we actually teamed with the previous vendors of Axel Springer, the guys delivering paper. So paper is the analog distribution of papers, or not of papers, but newspapers. And we have added the digital platform. So we are working together with Norske Skog, that's a global paper mill. They have a very power-demanding industry, so are we. They have a lot of space, we need space. So we teamed up with them to do transition for all the media companies from paper to digital over a time or over a number of years, and then being able to have the track record from the paper industry and adding the new sales channel like the digital platform. So a little bit more about Fjord IT. As you see, we have been around since '97. We've done a lot of different things. We even added some weight over time, but at least we got 3 years ago, we started looking at what should we do next? What's the next wave in IT? So we looked at cloud. Cloud is obviously becoming a big trend moving forward. And we thought about what can we do to differentiate from the big players like IBM or HP or whoever. So we saw what is the benefit of being in Norway, what is the benefit of having the paper mills on our side. It's hydropower. In Norway, we have 98.5% on the power grid is renewable, so it's from the waterfalls. And we actually have a waterfall and a hydro plant on our facility where we are building the data center. It's not in the data center, but close by. So we don't have water cooling. We actually have our own patented free cooling. So we don't use any energy on cooling of the servers or the data center. That's also a little bit due to that Norway is way up north, and it's not as hot as in San Francisco or San Jose or further down south. But we don't use any power on cooling, so that's 20% down on the power consumption. We only do renewable energy, so that's also a very, very good thing. That means that we can fight the cost level of the big international players. And we can scale our data center to these paper mills in Norske Skog, so we can build rapidly a large number of data center facilities. And I don't know, you're all aware of environmental issues. That's, you should be at least. Everyone is living on this planet, so we should definitely care about it. We, as an IT industry, we passed the air traffic with the carbon footprint in 2007. So we are polluting a lot. And if the data center business was a country, we would be consuming the same amount of power as Germany does today. So it's a huge industry. And you know that the cloud offerings is rapidly growing. So if we're keeping up at this pace, we will destroy the planet. So it's important to do the right thing about data centers. And if you come to Fjord IT, you can all be a part of that story. So that's a good thing. Lajos had chosen that a long time ago. So this is just to summarize what we do at Fjord IT: infrastructure, platform, software as a service, and in a cloud delivery model, cloud business model. And that cloud thing is what you are concerned about. A little bit cloudy what we can deliver, and actually also what we can execute on. So back to you.
All right, thanks. So in our opinions, a way from print to online-driven journalism is cloudy. So I'm now very pleased to present to you now our cloud project where we introduce Cloud Foundry to our company. So when you take a look on the current system infrastructure of Die Welt, you will find a very complex and also historically grown infrastructure with a big monolithic content management system where a lot of our features have been implemented inside. So furthermore, our software components having a very low test coverage. We have something between 6 and 13%, so really bad. So we really have to deal with legacy code. We have a very low degree of process automation. So somehow you could compare our current situation with the production line from Volkswagen here in the 60s. So somehow productive, but still a lot of hard manual work, and obviously not anymore state of the art. So this is a production line of Die Welt, so nothing very special. We're having an existing piece of software, we are doing a change there, or we're creating a new piece of software, we're building our software, we're rolling it out onto our test stage, then we run our little automated test suite against it, and then we have a lot of efforts in manual testing. And finally, we roll out everything again onto a production system, and there we run all the tests again against the production system. So the whole process takes us currently about 14 man-hours. And actually, about 70% of the overall process is manual work. So this is the production line of Volkswagen today, fully automated. And this was actually also the goal for our cloud project, to create a fully automated production line. So let's have a deeper look into the requirements we had on an innovative service architecture. So first of all, we wanted to increase our time and quantity to market rate. And at the same time, we wanted to reduce our operational cost. Furthermore, we want to be able to really quickly react on change requests, on bug reports, and feature requests. We also wanted to invest in mandatory software quality standards. And as I told you before, we have a lot of different kinds of subsidiaries. And currently, they are all disconnected. So also all IT departments are disconnected. And we recognize actually that Cloud Foundry could be a perfect synergy enabler to share services. So our vision for this project was to create a cloud-based service platform that supports a rapid development process. So we want to be able to receive all these crazy ideas from our editors, from our business units, and also from our developers, putting them on our new production line, running them through our new service fabric, and blowing them out really quickly to the market. So let me introduce you now to Matthias Naber, who is one of our leading engineers for this cloud project, and he will tell you now more about how we drove our vision to become reality.
Yeah, thank you, Lajos. So I will be covering the more technical part of this case study. So let me start with what we've done. In early 2013, we started our evaluation process. So as you can see on the slide, we had some contestants for what cloud we may base our future on. So we did some criteria that you would expect from such a software system when it comes to the maturity of the product, the quality of the documentation, of course the pricing, scaling capabilities, and technical capabilities. At the end of this process, we came up with two winners. The first one is Cloud Foundry, and the second one is for public clouds Heroku. Then there was another criteria. We call datability, so the responsible and sustainable treatment of data. I'm pretty sure you all heard of this NSA thing that happened like a year ago. There is this PRISM project and the NSA spying. There's this Patriot Act in the United States. And so we decided, or we had to decide, to use a private Cloud Foundry installation in a European data center. So to again remember where we came from, we had a content management system in the center of our environment, and we are pretty much bound to a Java development process. It means Java and JSP. There was nothing else to do. So it was a pretty slow development process. It was hard to do that. Ascenic, as such, is pretty slow and doesn't scale very well. So having chosen Cloud Foundry as our platform, also a cloud platform, we have now been giving a whole lot of opportunities to choose whichever technology we like, whatever programming language we like, and whatever framework we like, thanks to dozens of build packs supplied by Pivotal or the community. So what did we usually do when we started a project? We had to fill forms. We had to order servers, we had to care about IP addresses, we had to maybe order some database space. It took days. It was annoying. Then after that, of course, the operating system had to be patched, servers has to be installed, configured. Again, it took days. At the end, maybe you have to scale, increase memory, CPU, increase the instances. That again was an expensive thing. But now with Cloud Foundry, we shrink it down to minutes, only minutes. And we now can concentrate on the thing we like the most, is developing software. So let's have a deeper dive into the infrastructure part, and I hand over once more to Tore.
Yeah. Just one more slide. So we're doing the infrastructure as a service layer, and on top of that, PaaS, of course. But we were very happy to hear that SAP and HP on the stage yesterday said that if you have a PaaS layer, if you have Cloud Foundry, that's all we need to deliver our services. We couldn't agree more to that. The infrastructure beneath, the infrastructure as a service, is becoming commoditized. So there are things that need to be in place. You have to be able to scale, orchestrate, and do the right thing. But we also think that this is where the place where you put your sustainability, the green part, making sure that you do the right thing on that level, and then just handing it over to the guys doing the PaaS layer and do the applications and services on top of it. So we use vBlocks today. We're moving not away from it, but adding to it with the open compute. And we have the open source, and we have the more enterprise way of doing. So there you go.
So let me continue with the software, with the platform there. What we have today is an installation of Cloud Foundry version 1.1 at the data center of Fjord IT. We have some logging provided. Previously, you heard there is Splunk. We decided to use Logstash. This is also connected to the log aggregator of Cloud Foundry. And then we use some external services. We have Datadog connected to the Bosch Health Monitor and the Cloud Foundry collector. They're just getting metrics out of the system. Then we have Pingdom to check the general availability of Cloud Foundry in our applications. And last but not least, we have PagerDuty. This is a bridge into operation stuff that they may take action if something is wrong. So back at the data center, we also installed some infrastructure, which is mostly databases and messaging. And these components are interconnected to Cloud Foundry via these so-called user-provided services. So with this system given, we now have to approach the software development process. So we have to change the software paradigm on how software gets implemented. We came from a, as I said, Java-based environment, low test coverage, low automatization. There's this monolithic CMS in the center, and we have to change all of this. We have to increase the code coverage. We have to automate everything. And the goal was to introduce a continuous delivery workflow. So as we are mainly still Java developers, we use tools like Jenkins, Nexus, SonarQube. It won't surprise us. We use Gradle as our build tool. And there's been a great talk of Gradleware, where they introduced how you could implement a continuous delivery pipeline based on Gradle. So we took that as an inspiration and combined that with the also very awesome Cloud Foundry Gradle plugin and built this continuous delivery pipeline. So upon a commit from a developer, we compile, we unit test, we do integration test, we do this code analysis with SonarQube, and then we build our artifact. That artifact gets shipped to a certain stage, get then tested again, and if everything is okay, we do this zero downtime green blue deployment with the Gradle plugin. We repeat that from stage to stage, and it's a process of only 10 minutes to get a change that the developer has made to a production system safely and securely with the required security that it will work. So let me summarize what we have after several months of using Cloud Foundry. I will start with the negative points. Datadog. This was the collection of the metrics. It has not yet been released. It is therefore not very well documented. You have to dig through some GitHub release commits and just analyze how it's working. It's pretty unstable so far, but we hope that it gets some drive in the future to get it more stable, because it's a really important instrument to see what's happening inside Cloud Foundry. So then, at some point, it was like 2 months ago, we tried to upgrade Cloud Foundry 1.0 to 1.1, and it was a big hassle. There was more of a reinstallation than an upgrade process. It was pretty frustrating and time-consuming. We're hoping that the next upgrade to version 1.2 that is released like several weeks ago will be much smoother. Then there are services. We had also, sadly, some issues with that. It was, let's take, for example, the RabbitMQ. We ran into a problem. We installed RabbitMQ via the Pivotal Cloud Foundry, and we couldn't bind the service created to the application. So we contacted the customer support, and we had like 2 solutions. The one was reinstall everything, which again is pretty frustrating, or even wait for the next release to come. This would be Cloud Foundry 1.2, and it meant to wait several weeks for that update. And then, of course, Bosch. Funny story, we tried to test the self-healing capabilities of Cloud Foundry and played Chaos Monkey. So we're randomly shutting down some components, and it turned out it isn't a good idea to open a root shell into a DEA and type halt into the shell. The system went down and never went up again, sadly. Okay, it was a testing system, but... So let's come to the positive sides. Stability. Apart from the thing I told you, we had virtually no downtime so far. We are running Cloud Foundry for several months now, not a single downtime. This is awesome. Then the maintenance. This whole system is only operated by 2 people. One of them is me, and I'm really happy that they don't have to do very much. It's a really great system, very complex, and only 2 people needed to do this work. Great, also great. The next thing is community. If you ever have contacted the mailing list, you get a great feedback. Thanks for that. Then our developer feedback. They're really looking forward to use Cloud Foundry. They're really happy to leave the Java and JSP-based environment that they are now in, and looking forward to have this whole bunch of opportunities to develop their softwares. And last but not least, the monitoring capabilities of Cloud Foundry are also awesome. Once you get Datadog running and Logstash running, you have a great insight into what is happening in Cloud Foundry. It's a really good thing to have if you run productive system with that. So what else is there? We are looking forward for this auto-scaling feature that came with Cloud Foundry 1.2 to even be more resource efficient. Then there will be a file system service, which is also nice to have a persistent file storage for applications. And then there is the investigation in how we could use hybrid clouds for applications that do not require private data. So, Lajos, would you be so kind?
Yeah. All right, so before I finish up the talk, I really want to take the opportunity to say thanks to the Cloud Foundry community, because you really helped us to make a tremendous step forward. So thank you very much for that. So we didn't talk so far about software as a service. So also here the car industry is offering us a very nice analogy. Volkswagen created the MQB. They call it also the platform. So this is this nice metal frame. And this metal frame is actually used for different kind of car classes. So a Volkswagen Passat has the same platform as a Skoda Octavia. And furthermore, Volkswagen went one step beyond. They also took care about a modularization strategy. So this means that whenever they create now a new feature for their car, they think about what could be the generic part of my feature that I can reuse for different kind of car classes. And this is actually that's what we also had in mind in order to cooperate with our subsidiaries. So in the near future, we really want to create this software as a service layer with different kind of services like a community services, location-based services, image scaling services, whatever comes in our mind in future. And then we have a lot of different kind of apps coming from our different kind of brands and subsidiaries. And so we are really looking forward that we are now having a common platform where we are able to share our services and in order to also reduce, reduce our resources, not resources, the cost. So we are going, we are currently starting to create a new Axel Springer marketplace by providing a service repository. Some of the services Matthias already mentioned, so we integrated MySQL, MongoDB, RabbitMQ. We are currently working on Elasticsearch. And we have also these services, application-driven services in mind, like a voting module or image scaling service, or a push service for mobile devices. All right, so let's have a short look on our future work. So what we also want to achieve is to introduce the culture of prototyping to our company in the way that we are creating or implementing the build, measure, learn cycle. So whenever we are now creating new features, we really try to create a minimal viable product that we are really quickly delivering to the market. And then we really have to measure how the user behaves in order to learn how does the user accept our feature, can we improve our feature. So in order to improve the minimal viable product. So with the help of Cloud Foundry, we were very easily able to establish continuous delivery. And what we are currently missing is a business intelligence system. So we have two projects going on. One is about tracking, so different kind of tracking technologies in order to create reports. And then we have a very nice project together with Optimizely going on. So Optimizely is taking care about A/B testing. And they offering now a very nice API in order to adapt A/B testing also to your established processes. So it's actually very nice. And they have a very comfortable user interface to analyze the results of your A/B tests. So you see, Axel Springer is on a really interesting and exciting journey, and it's really great to be part of this journey currently. And but I have to say, if you want to be successful, evolution is really the key. And Charles Darwin said once in a time that not the strongest species will survive, and also not the most intelligent species will survive. It is the one that is able to easily adapt to changes. And this is actually how we also behave. We're always looking for the next step forward. Thank you.